want to move to First Lady Teresa, our Executive Director of the Table of Hope. When you arrived to Bethel, trying to find your place there, what were some of the initial impressions you had in 2010 and some of the aspirations you had for the church and for the community?
You know, we arrived here from South Africa in 2010, and in South Africa, we did quite a bit of ministry there. And it was a very different climate, a lot of poverty, different kind of poverty, I would say, than you see here. And so when we came to Morristown, you know, I wanted to see how could we be of service here? What are some of the gaps in human services? What is needed? So we talked to various stakeholders in the community, and that's when we found out, number one, that Black and brown children were slipping through the cracks. So we started our tutoring program to assist with that. And without getting into all the details about how Table of Hope came about, when we did Table of Hope, we researched the community in terms of what is being offered for soup kitchens and food pantries, and realized that no one was serving dinner. The only individual group that was serving dinner was for men, not for families and children. So that's why we started dinner. So we made sure that we weren't really necessarily trying to compete with the services that were already being provided. We wanted to try to fill in gaps, and then fill in gaps and also develop partnerships with other service providers, other organizations, so that we can all work together to really build up the people in our community that need the help the most.
How would you say Table of Hope has expanded since its inception?
The pandemic had a lot to do with astronomical growth in Table of Hope. You know, prior to the pandemic, our food pantry was serving about 70 people a week. And after the pandemic hit, it was 2,000 people a week. So we were really stretched for resources and capacity. But because of the community and the relationships that have been developed, we were able to utilize those relationships to help us to get Table of Hope, to be able to travel to different towns in Morris County, to be able to get the food that we needed to get and to distribute the food we needed to get. We were able to get support in that. Also, a lot of the food pantries and soup kitchens, they pulled back and were closed. And there were a couple of things that happened. Not only were we really the only ones distributing food during the height of the pandemic, we were the only ones giving people an opportunity to give back. And while the pandemic was very tragic for many people, you know, and unfortunate, in our case, a lot of people wanted to come and help. We had a tremendous amount of volunteers that were birthed in the pandemic that still work with us to this day, because at that time we gave them an opportunity to have meaning and to do something to serve their community. And just one quick example, there was a young woman who was working at our soup kitchen, and she had lost her daughter, who was a healthcare worker during the pandemic, very young. Her daughter was in her 20s. And so she was taking care of her 7-year-old granddaughter, and she came and served with us every week. And she just said, "This gives me meaning. This helps me to get through this difficult time." So while, yes, we served a lot of people, a lot of families, and still do, but the community aspect, the connectedness, not only just with the volunteers, but the volunteers with the people we serve, there's just relationships that are being established that are becoming long-term and very meaningful to many.
Any other insight you may want to offer faith leaders?
Yeah, I don't think you should just start doing a soup kitchen or a tutor program just because you think it's a great idea. I think you really need to look at your community and what is needed. And when you look at the community and look at the needs and talk to the various stakeholders in the community, don't limit what you can do by what you currently have as your resources. Because once you have a vision for what you want to do and you share that vision with local community leaders, from your political leaders, they will want to be a part of it, because most people want to be a part of something that's helping others. That's what our experience has been. So I just think that you really should do it, you know, look in your community, see what the services are, see where the gaps are, and then build your ministry off of that.